Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story. Ken Somerville, my co-host, Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener. And we're going over Andy's book, Don't Panic, It's Organic, which you can get if you go to his website, get on his newsletter. You can get this version, the version I have. But Andy is actually rewriting all of this for the new information that he's learned over the last few years. So he's going to be updating. You're going to be getting a brand new book available for you guys in the near future. But Andy, we're talking on what is it? Chapter 8 in your book is just one word: compost.
Yeah, I was really lazy when I did that book at that time. Each book is an upgrade from the previous book, and so I'm being the editor and everything. I put it together, and so now that I'm doing this, and I look at it, I go, "Gee, I have progress so far from that when I wrote." That was 2009, okay, 2009 when I came out with the book. I think. See, so it's another 11 years. What is it? 15 years, 16 years. You know what I mean? So it's been a while, and I have completely changed. I have wings. I live on a mountainside. It's like, looking forward to learning more about. Yeah, you're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you guys today. So let's start this, because I've been working on this for a day, most of the day today. So here we go.
Cool.
So what I want to do is by the way, here's the thing. If you guys have questions about your compost production, by all means, bring it up, and I'm happy to go over that. I just didn't want to insult you guys and say, okay, this is how you make compost. I'm sure every single one of you guys and ladies and gentlemen, I've been making compost for thousands of years already. I wish we could live closer to each other, because I would use your compost, right?
Yeah.
So I was just telling Ken now, okay, sorry, I'm not actually talking about what's in the book, because the book just tells you how to get the brown and the green and blend it together, how to do all that stuff. It's a simple process. But the next version of the book, it's going to say, you should know how to make compost by now. If not, then bad for you. So I'm not even going to tell you how to make.
The thing is, Andy, and it's one of the things I like to tell people is listen to many voices. So if you don't know how to make compost yet, find people that make the compost type that you want, because there's the Johnson Sioux, there's the flipping, there's all kinds of different methodologies.
Like cooking. It's like cooking.
Yeah, find the one that works for you if you don't know how to make compost. But here we want to talk about why do we make compost?
Okay, so I'm gonna introduce you to my composting. Okay, I'm gonna introduce you why I do compost and why it's so important. And even now, I wrote this. I have already advanced from the writing this morning. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so and it really should say introducing to Andy's compost method, or Andy's idea about compost. And here it is. And they can also join the Compost Academy. That's right. I don't know if it's
Farmer Cheryl. Is that compostacademy.com or whatever? Put that into the chat.
Be like a link.
Yeah, we'll let people help each other. That's one of the reasons we love our chat so much, Andy, is because they help other people. It's one lit candle can light many without ever diminishing its own light.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And in compost is something I've been with. I'm 70. Let's see, 76. I'll be 77 in 2 or 3 months, guys. I want an electric Mercedes-Benz. I want. You guys are gonna have to send me all kinds of. Anyway,
I'll do what I did to my brother. He always wanted a Porsche, so we got him a dinky toy Porsche. I got beat for that one pretty bad, though.
I got introduced to compost before I was somewhere between the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, somewhere in there. I forget now, because their parents would send. This was in New York City, and I would be sent to live with my parents in Puerto Rico, because I would literally be killed because I would get into fights with all the different gangs in New York City, right?
Right.
And coffee, boy, wink. Oh boy. Seaweed and coffee. Yeah, that's a really good, believe it or not, a good spray. And I do that. I actually do that in my spraying service. Okay. So I have one customer, I get 10 cups of cold brew coffee. It's like 1 cup says 40 cups. And then my whole 100 gallons is basically super seaweed. That's the product I call it, super seaweed. Even though I'm thinking of changing the name now, because when I make that, when I started that, I would literally get seaweed from different parts of the world. But now the seaweed is like super, super toxic, and I don't know how to filter it out. So I don't want to have more toxic super seaweed. So I haven't changed the name of it.
Yeah. Hey, well, let's get back to composting, Andy.
Yeah, right, whatever. Yeah.
Purpose of composting.
So I tell people think, well, we're going to recycle. That's why compost. Okay, that's an obvious what they teach you, but that's not the real reason I compost. That's not the real reason why you should be compost. And the real reason is compost heals the soil biology.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you want, right? That's your goal, is to make this compost that when you add it to the living soil, it goes, yeah.
And it also supplies a lot of organic material for the biology to live on.
That's right. So I took it one notch from being weeds, Mother Nature's healers, to compost as Mother Nature's doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the way you want to think about compost when you make it, because you have this amazing medicine. Even though I can say compost is medicine, but I think
how about a prescription, man? Compost is Mother Nature's prescription.
Well, Mother Nature, yeah. There's so many ways to describe it. What I was trying to say is that a doctor can adapt himself to whatever illness it has, So what's going on with the patient comes in, okay, you need this, another comes in. So that I prefer, but the prescription has to be written by the doctor, right? See, right? So Mother Nature wrote compost as a prescription, but that prescription is good for everything Mother Nature does. So Mother Nature would normally say, you need compost, you need compost, you need compost.
Yep.
Whereas
that's what the leaves are falling, man. She's making compost.
So that's why as a doctor, the doctor say, oh, you need more calcium, or you need more iron. Or wait, why are you deficient in this? Why are you deficient in that? So that's it. That's part of the idea is to get across is that you're going to make something that's intelligent, that will adapt. And also what happens is that you're reinforcing I think of the soil biology as the army, the soil army.
Yeah.
And in the army, they have so many different specialists, right? So many different, one guy that drives a tank, another airplane, another does this, another that. They're all different. And so when you put the compost, it's not like they're all in the compost. The compost will change to meet all those things. So you put compost in the ground, if you need a tank driver, you got a tank driver, right? Or a airplane pilot. Right. That's what's so cool about it. It's like as if the doctor changes outfits, right? The doctor say, okay, I'm now going to be a surgeon. Okay, now I'm an eye healer. Now, the doctor, that's what it is. Basically, doctor keeps changing what he needs to be to heal.
Yes.
Right.
And
that's,
it's like in your compost, like you're saying, it's like the military, you have all these different divisions, and you slowly want to bring that into your compost. And that's where, Andy, you talk a lot about, the minerals that you're adding to your compost. Why are we adding those minerals too, right?
I'm yelling because I was excited, guys. Is this better?
I think I was yelling louder than you, though.
Yeah, I think I may have had the mic a little bit higher. I can't tell. But I get excited. See, so I could talk very quietly, very, very, very. Is this okay, guys? He knows I'm hard of hearing.
Yeah, exactly, Ghetto. Maybe I need to turn my tone down so that it comes out better for you, okay? Not Andy. Yeah, it was me yelling. I'm like Andy. I get excited about this stuff, and I really, I just want to help everybody.
So I've learned from experience. And the key to my business, you would think, well, the spraying is the key. That's just one aspect of the spraying. Because I've learned that there's a law of cause and effect. There's also short-term and long-term solutions. Yes. So the short-term is, you're doing some type of foliar spray, some type of spraying where you're getting the the meat. They're like parachutists. You're flying a plane, dumping them out, right? They get there. They get there, and a lot of them will die, but they do their job and hold it forward until the rest of them show. The rest of them have to come. They have to build the. You bring a city with them. They build a city, right? Basically, that's what they do. And that's really cool. So, I've learned to key in to. So when I started studying how to make compost, I studied the Rudolf Steiner system method.
Okay.
And it's biodynamics. And he couldn't stop talking enough about the he didn't say, well, he would give specific names of different biologies in there, right? He would say this is this and this is that. And I go, yeah, okay, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to remember that name, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but what I did get out of it was that because he was into he would get an animal. His thing was a cow.
Yes. Yeah.
And the stomach of the cow. So what I've learned is that each animal have different biology in their stomachs.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you when you make your compost, if you learn anything from this show that we've been talking about, more boots on the ground, more varied boots. We don't want the same type, right? We want as many different kinds of boots on the ground as possible, and that's what you want to do when you make your compost. I have different people making compost, and they say they make the best compost, and I say, how do you make your compost? And they tell me, and they usually have horse manure, right? Okay. It's not going to be the same thing if you had horse manure, chicken, rabbit. The only thing I wouldn't have in it would be a lion, nothing that eats meat. Maybe because the biology is a little different.
Oh, yeah.
You feel different, right?
If you guys, really want to look at how the different manures work, you look at a lot of the grazing videos, guys like Gabe Brown, who does a progressive grazing from cattle right down to the chickens, all eating the different things in a cycle. Remember, it's a complete circle of life. And we're trying to do that in a small area composting. So that's where you're trying to add all that, cow manure and goat manure and chicken manure, so that it's the biodiversity, cover all the bases as much as you can.
And I have so many friends that make compost. They only concentrate on one thing. And so their compost and they're going to have problems down the road because that compost cannot cover the biologies in there to cover these other things that needed to be done. And mainly it comes down, I talk a lot about trace minerals. So it comes down to only certain biology can work the miracle of converting certain types of trace minerals into other types of trace minerals.
Yeah. Well, you're breaking down a cell structure down to the molecule level, to build other things with those molecules. But if you don't have all of the availability, if you don't have the diversity of materials, like, having all the different manures, having all the different greens and browns, you really, you're stumping your foot into the ground and trying to dig a hole, and it ain't gonna work. You need that diversity, like Andy always tells you guys. That's why you add in the different micronutrients, the rock dust, etc. Sorry, Andy, I keep taking over.
I want to throw in something that has nothing to do with this, but I just heard about it today. They have discovered bacteria that make gold, that they somehow turn it into gold. That's how amazing bacteria can be. Isn't that something?
Yeah, like, people are so worried about microplastics, and now there's biology that consumes microplastics. Mother Nature, she's broken down all of this stuff at one time in the billions of years of history. Sometimes it just takes a while for her to get the right biology back in line to consume this stuff. But we've got to try to help her and not hinder her, not kill the biology, add to the biodiversity of biology. They know more than we do. They create your DNA in every cell that you are having your body, every skin cell, hair molecule, the biology does all of that, where our scientists, man, they don't have the microscopes figured out for it yet.
I know I have to show this. I'm sorry.
Well,
I got
she
the wrong
is
one.
one step ahead of us, you know.
Yeah.
We're, we're,
Mainly
we're
what Ken and I want to do is make you start thinking in terms of biology, thinking in
yes.
terms of soil biology, not just soil biology, but there's many different types of biology. So when you look at like this picture, you're in there, you're going to find 4 or 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 different types of biology from the eggshell, from the plant. Each plant has
Yeah.
its own biology in it. And that's what's so cool. That's what you want to key into, because each biology, there's a reason for it, and you can combine them together. They're not going to fight each other. They're going to form one amazing army, is what you want. And so I was taught, early on, I want to get some green materials and blue. That's because you're putting different types of biology in there first. The brown material is the carbon. You need the carbon source.
We're all carbon-based life forms, plants, animals, humans. We all have to have carbon.
Right. And so if you make compost and you don't have any carbon source in there, you're going to be, your biology is not going to do very well. You're going to, it's going to end up, your compost is going to end up smelling. It's going to be rotting. I tell people, the difference between compost and something when something's rotting, right? You know what I mean? There's a difference. Yeah. You can smell it a mile away. The different biology that Mother Nature says, this is what it smells when it's not right. And it's a different kind of biology in it. You can't use that. You can't make a tea out of that and spray it on your garden.
No, it'll burn your plants and kill them really fast, right?
Really, really easy. It might be good to repel elephants. It probably will keep elephants away.
Yeah, you got to wait for your compost to finish off and really smell good. But it's amazing that people haven't comprehended that, and they do use compost that isn't finished, but the nose knows. So before you use your compost, make sure that it doesn't smell rotten, doesn't have that bacteria in it.
And even in the spraying aspect of it, because if you're spraying living organisms inside your liquid, if you don't do it quickly enough, that liquid is going to stink up on you. You're going to say, well, that smells very different now. I wouldn't even want to use it, right? And if you do use it, you're actually hurting your plants, you're hurting the soil, because that stuff is toxic.
Yeah, it's went too far the wrong way, and that's why that smell is there. But Serena had the question, what is the best way to compost core pots of cocoa core pots so that they break down quicker?
Not that hard to do. If you, for me, I would soak them in my worm tea, just straight worm tea. I would soak it into it. You'll find that they will break down quicker. You have to be, one of the other things to do is filter your city water, because the city water is not biologically rich. But if you happen to have water that's biologically rich, that's going to do it right there, because you normally soak it in that water. Don't soak it in city water, because you could be sitting there for weeks and nothing will happen.
Yeah, I don't know which biology really breaks down cocoa core that much quicker, other than trying to as much biology, have your compost pile, make sure it's buried deep inside and covered. But cocoa core fiber is like a lot of other plant fibers, especially like your wood, can take a year or more to break down. Well, cocoa core really is a wood fiber, so it just may be time. I know I've used cocoa core, I've broken it down, but I've never really looked at how long it took. I just threw it in my compost mix and let it do its thing.
When I did 1 year, I think it was maybe 7, 8 months ago, I bought this little chunk of cocoa core, right?
Yeah.
Add the water to spread it out. So I put it in the worm bin, and I swear within 2 months it wasn't there anymore, because it was just covered with worms. It was literally a ball of worms. You go, okay, where's the core? They went right through that.
Cool, because I've never tried it in my worm bin, but that's a hell of a good idea, Andy. They
went right through that. I go, you like that, do you guys? Right? They do the same thing with apples and pears. It's just become this ball of living, moving thing, And that's what happened. I said, gee, I think it was 2 months because I don't, I don't remember. I don't keep notes as to when I did it. That would be kind of cool. Today I gave him a ball of coconut corn. Let's see what happens, right? But that's why I said the worm juice good, because that's so rich. It breaks everything down. I mean, I'm learning that in my property is more and more earthworms. And I think maybe they're getting out, but I'm also spraying it, and I'm seeing them pop. I'm going to have a contest that I bet you can't dig it up anywhere in my garden that doesn't have worms.
And that's fantastic, because as soon as you see those worms, you have life. Because guys, remember, worms, they're not eating the apple core. They're eating the biology on the apple core. And if you don't have the biology, they don't have a food source, so they're not going to be there. So Andy, when you're seeing worms, you have biology coming back into your soil.
You know what I saw first? I should have taken a picture. Mushrooms.
Mycelium, yes.
Mushrooms are coming up, and I said, "Oh, look at that!" I was going to do a video in search of life, something like that, and key into those mushrooms, because nothing was. You remember, it was hydrophobic. It didn't like water, and I think parts of it down deeper, it's looking that way. But at least maybe 3 inches, 4 inches along the top, it's really black. And you can't dig anywhere without the worms going, "Excuse me." I go, "Sorry."
And just think of them worms are digging holes through that soil, and they're breaking that up. They're allowing oxygen in. They're allowing the moisture in. Oh, that's beautiful to hear, Andy.
And also, too, I've been spraying milk, whole milk.
Yep.
I've been spraying whole milk and coffee and molasses, and I've been spraying it everywhere, soaking the plants with it. All that stuff. And lately I started adding turmeric to it. So it's called golden milk. I drink it myself, but I started spraying it, and nothing, the squirrels are not eating it. And I'm putting it in the gopher tunnels. They're going to gopher tunnels. They're going, what? It's really weird. And just remember that when you make your compost, the reason why you do the carbon, because carbon is the tool that they use to make everything else with.
Well, more biology. If you don't have enough carbon, you can't make enough biology for that pile to heat up the way you want it to. You got to have those building blocks, right? So
that's where biochar comes in. Biochars are like carbon right there. But you can get carbon from cardboard, newspapers, leaves, all kinds of things. But the biochar, it's like a concentrated carbon.
Now, Andy, I do want to point something out. The biochar is going to hold the biology, but biochar is not a available carbon source. So you still need a carbon source for them to consume, but they'll live inside of the biochar and be protected. So
I didn't know that. They don't break the carbon. They don't break the carbon down.
They break carbon down, but because the biochar has been cooked, it'll last.
Sorry, guys. No wonder the worms are looking at me. You want us to eat this? What? I told Michael I was going to be adding the biochar to my worm farm. He didn't say no.
Well, because it supports the biology, and if it's small enough, the worm will consume it. It'll just come out the other end. Remember, worms only take a very small amount of the biology that they consume is actually ingested and used by the worm. The rest, they just add more biology, their biology, into the mix, and it comes out the other end. So that biochar is just going right on through, man.
That's why I like elephants. I tell people the two richest poop are earthworms and elephants. Elephants, it's in and out, in and out, in and out. Even more so than the cow. I don't think
elephants don't have stomachs.
Elephants have a big giant stomach.
Okay, yeah.
It's just like processes. It's like earthworms, but they're smaller. A cow, what's unique about a cow is they have two stomachs.
Four.
Four?
Four stomachs in a cow,
two. Yeah, they have more than one. They're more than
they've got
stomachs.
four.
It's like, wow. I thought it was pretty cool they have two stomachs. I thought two stomachs. See, you have one with process, but four what does it do? Go from one stomach to the other stomach to the other stomach?
Exactly. They add different biology, and then they
Holy
regurgitate
cow.
and they chew. It's called chewing their cud. So they've ate all this grass. They actually belch it back up, mash it more.
Yeah.
Right.
Chew
And
my
then
cud.
it goes to another stomach.
And,
then it goes,
and each stomach is different biology. It has to be.
Exactly. That's why cow manure is so healthy, because it's got this mix of biology that's broken down at the first step, broken down at the second, broken down to the third. And we talked that the smaller the particles, when you feed them to your soil, the easier it is for the biology to use.
No wonder it's so good. No wonder Rose Snyder went nuts over the cow.
Yeah.
You know, because that has like different biology doing different tasks, breaking it down even more.
Each one.
You know, each one of them can go smaller and smaller and smaller. Then it becomes definitely homeopathic. Because that's what the whole key with biodynamics is too. Is the homeopathic method. That's what he worked on homeopathic medicine as well. That is so cool. I didn't really know that.
And grass is all fiber, and they got to break all that fiber down. It's like consider something that chews on a tree and eats a tree. They have to break that all down, and they have to go through a long process. That's why when you use wood chips, it takes a lot longer for you to compost than if you're using,
compost. I have never. I tried one a long time. I mean, in Florida, I put wood chips in the compost, and wood chips came right out the same wood chips. I mean, 30 days my stuff was done, pieces of wood chips in.
Yes, because wood chips, and that's a carbon source that's slow. It's like, Andy, we're talking about adding the cooked rice versus the uncooked rice. It's that quick addition or the long addition. Things like, wood chips are the longer addition.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why I like one of Layton's mulch is like, it's kind of like one's called aged forest. Fine aged forest. It's already been aged.
Exactly.
And that stuff's perfect to put in your compost, because when it comes out, you will not recognize it.
Yeah. Now, Serena does have a question that I really want to address.
There it is.
What about the brown tape on cardboard boxes? Can that be composted?
No.
Yeah, you're better to any type of a tape. You're better to pull off labels.
So when you have when you feed, what I do when I use cardboard, first of all, I don't get anything that's got different colors on it. You know how cardboard the boxes can have different colors for this and different color for that. You don't want any of that color. Secondly, you don't want any tape, whether it be tape that was taped the box up, especially the labels. You want to take those off. It will kill your worms faster than anything else, because they cannot. It's pure toxic to them. They're not going to
plastic.
Yeah,
it's plastic, and they don't like that plastic. But Andy, a lot of and it's like us using the paper, and we're shredding it up and using it in our worm bins. There's anything that's covered with that wax coating.
Yeah,
you really the wax is going to have the main thing that's a problem. Most of the dyes, etc., nowadays, they changed the laws back decades ago where it has to be vegetable based. It's not lead based.
The difference is colorful. If you have a page that has color on it, they're not good. The color itself, because they haven't gotten strict down on the color, especially if it's shiny. You know how most things come out if it got a shiny page, like an ad. Those things I would not give it to them. So you always have to learn. So when I go buy apple, the little label on it, you gotta take that little label off the apple, or even the banana, any fruit you want to give to these guys, you have to take that little label off. And
I'll tell you, I missed a few of those, on bananas. And like 2 years,
they're still there.
And they were still there. The worms hadn't touched them at all, because they just can't break that down. It's that wax coating.
I was just going to say that, because a couple of times I have missed it on an avocado. So I'm digging in there, feed them, and I see this little label sitting there going, holy cow.
Yeah.
You know? and the worms are going, don't touch it, don't touch it. Oh my God, don't touch it. It's like, yeah, that stuff is super, super duper toxic, and no wonder the worms are having a hard time in the soil, because it really, I mean, the soil biology can eventually adapt to go through plastic. But the
now,
problem is that
Serena's saying that sun brown tape claims to be natural ingredients that can be composted, and that wouldn't surprise me, because a lot, globally, a lot of these companies are starting to realize that they have to go this route. And
the problem is, how would you know unless you
which one is which?
Right.
Yeah, unless it's printed on the tape.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can assume that it's the opposite. Otherwise, they would just promote the heck out of it. This is a safe tape to use. You know what I mean?
I would assume that it's bad tape before I would assume that it's good tape,
because it's usually bad
and remove it anyway.
By the way, I got here. One of the things that we definitely have to remember all the time is biology. Soil biology is alive. Guess what the number one thing is that kills the soil biology?
Water. City water. Treated water.
City water, right. So I included in the picture of Michael's blue sky water filter. It goes on the bib when you use the hose. There's also many different companies out there that will sell you a whole property filtration system. That you can use. You'll find that as soon as you stop adding, even where for house plants, it's just yesterday, because I do a house plant, plant hospital for free. They bring me their patients and they take it back. I tell them, give us a little bit of this, two aspirins, and call me in the morning. But I give them, they buy my super seaweed, and I say, okay, you have to add it to your filtered water, not the city water. So the lady comes over, you got to help me, my plant's dying. I go there and I go, well, did you do what I tell you to do? Yeah, I gave it the super seaweed, it's still dying. I talked to the maid, how did you do what I actually do? Not use your sink water, but use your filter water. Oh, I what's wrong with using? I go, well, there you go. And it was actually bad, because the city water, fluoride, chloride, whatever else is in there, it's probably what killing the plant, because the plant, the biology, there's no biology in the soil there. I repotted that plant and everything.
Yeah.
Groundwater is really, well, rainwater if you can catch it, but groundwater, if you have it, that's the best. Well water, if you have sometimes, and the well water over here, it's really, they say it's heavy duty with minerals, which is great. You just have to test it for
exactly, right?
You have to test it for the bad things like iron, cadmium, mercury, lead, those things, because that's popping up now more than ever before, So this little section here,
composting methods and process.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about increasing your trace mineral. So this is some of the animals, and I think it's missing. Oh yeah, it doesn't have the rabbit in there.
I don't see any pussy cats. No puppy dogs.
I don't have those because you don't want to do. I don't put them in. I mean, you guys might do it.
I'm just looking at the animals, Andy. You can't put that stuff in your compost file.
No, but I definitely would add the rabbit to it, and lava manure, sheep, and there's an elephant in there. They can go into it. The point of this whole thing is to combine as many, I wrote non-meat eating animals in there that you can get. And that's basically true, because that's what you want the biology for. I'm not really sure why lions and tigers and bears have a weird poop that doesn't seem to work as well, even though I've never really tried it. Anybody has?
I don't know that it works any worse than any other manure.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to point out, guys, is any animal, and like you've got a horse there, and their manure can be very, very toxic, because a lot of horses are fed a lot of bad things, the dewormers, etc. But so are sheep, and so are all these other animals given this stuff. So try to get natural manure where the farmer isn't, feeding them the stuff that we don't want, that's going to kill the biology.
Yes, I did. I'm an old fan of turmeric. I've been using turmeric for 120 years now. I call it gold milk because I don't drink milk, but I have coconut milk with it. I have a variety of other things with it, and I've even but I use turmeric in the garden as well because I find that the rabbits, the squirrels, or gophers do not like turmeric. And so I've always sprayed milk because that milk is really super high in calcium. Plus, it has what's the name of the bacteria, the biology that lives with milk? You know, it's a long name.
Lactic acid bacteria.
That's them, lactic acid, and that's very very good. I learned. Isn't the rice the same?
Yes, it'll promote because this is a biology that is in every breath you take. It's in the air around you, and when you're doing the rice and you're skimming a layer of
the
biology off,
Yeah.
that's your lactic acid.
Right,
And then you
right.
promote it by feeding it milk. No other bacteria can live on the milk.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have you can make a pure lactic acid spray. I got a jug of it in my fridge.
So I used to make that separately. And as I get older, I just use the milk straight. I add milk to filtered water. I add some turmeric to it, organic turmeric, and then I would add a dash of Dr. Bronner soap to it. And it depends on what I'm using it for. In this case, I'm using it. See, I use various different things to keep creatures from eating my stuff. Ideally, if my garden was working, functioning properly, and the plants were healthy, the creatures. The problem is I think these creatures go, I want to eat that food because it's organic and healthy. That's what I think is going on with it. Because you can't keep them away.
That's exactly what's going on, Andy. Like, hey,
you go, oh, yummy, yummy. Give me that. I want to eat that. Yeah, right. My cat does it.
I want to point out what Dave Knight says here. I quit using cow manure. I was worried about glyphosate. And that's a big worry because glyphosate's everywhere.
Yeah, you just don't know what you have to know your farmer. You have to know who took care of the animal. When I was in Florida, I always got to know the person.
But is it, glyphosate's in their hay that they're buying, in the wheat, their grain that they're buying and feeding their
That's right.
animals.
That's what you have to ask them. You have to interrogate them. So, okay, what are you feeding them? Where are you getting that from? And then they say, I buy it from Joe's barn over there. And you go to talk to Joe. Well, I grew it, and of course it's full of whatever it is that I grew it.
Yeah, I was playing glyphosate on my crops all the time. Can't you tell?
Right. So you have to really. The bottom line for me was own your own farm, take care of your own animals, and you don't have any problem.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna there's something going. They even spray DDT and a bunch of other stuff on the manure to control the fly. So when I would go, oh yeah, this is all organic, and I go, okay, cool. But then I'm looking at the stuff, and I'm going, what do you do to your because there's no flies, nothing going on there, and I'm going, and they say, oh yeah, we spray this and that to get rid of. Okay, well, thank you for telling me because I don't want it.
Well, and I think, Andy, one of the things, and guys, this is a test for your manure because you shouldn't be using fresh manure, out of a cow, etc.
Catch it before it's the ground.
So if you're using an aged manure and you're getting it, say, from a store, then you definitely don't know. But if you're getting it from a farmer, get your hand in there, break it up, see if you can see any little bugs running around. They're called arthropods. They're really small bugs. If you see that, then that's life, and that life can't exist if that glyphosate's there. So that, that's a way you can test, but it's always best to have, your own, if you can possibly do that.
So there are a few times when I would use raw manure, and I of course know the source to get it from. I got to know the people, what they use. A lot of times they inject hormones and go right through be in the manure. A lot of times they spray for flies. They spray for a whole bunch of other stuff, which they don't really have to tell you. But if you learn, but the times that when I used raw manure would be so a few times they would be bad nematodes, for example, a disease in the soil, it would go rampant. So I would literally inoculate it with the raw manure, turn it over, let it compost in the ground. That would that would wipe out the bad manure, the bad diseases. I would use it for when you have a nematode infection. I would use it for a variety of other things that very, very strong, like manure tea by itself. I mean, you can use it in the raw state, but you can spray it. But I stopped doing that because it's too easy to get sick from it. When you have raw manure, you want to let it cook down a little bit. So what I learned to do is I learned to add rock dust to the raw manure. It binds everything. Really, it makes it safe for them for you to use. That's why I talked about trace mineral sources. That's one of the things you want to be adding to your compost production is rock dust. And again, what does Mother Nature do? She doesn't give you one source of rock dust. You get rock dust from all over the world, all different kinds of rock dust. Eventually, end up where you're at. She's recycling. A volcano will dust. So the volcanoes all over the world, and they tend to spread different kinds of rock dust everywhere, different trace minerals.
Goes right up into the stratosphere. Now, I just want to point out, Super Nest, I stay away from manures as fertilizer. That old saying, you are what you eat. Well, if you're eating that raw manure, you should be staying away from it. But if you're putting it in and letting the biology
then
break
you don't
it
have it
down
anymore.
like you would do in a natural forest, that the sap that you're pulling off those trees, if there's deer running through, that manure is dropping. If there's grouse, etc., that manure is dropping. You're never going to get away from that. But yeah, you definitely don't want to use direct things.
So I had the discussion before. People say, I'm going to go to a store, and the store will say compost, no manure. I'm going, okay, because people think that manure and compost, like she said, I don't use manure in my, but it's a major part of how Mother Nature converts things using manure. All these animals, birds, creatures all over the world, that's what one main thing they do. And if you leave her alone, she will convert that. So in my garden, when I would do vegetables and stuff, and you can have it tested for manure. There's no manure in there, even though you made from the animal manure. So I was getting very good at making compost, all different types of animal manure. Nobody ever was concerned with E. coli. Nobody ever got sick. As a matter of fact, you send it to a lab and it says there's no urea in there, urine in there.
Because there isn't anymore, because the biology has taken that, broken it down into such small particles, it can't be called manure anymore.
It's not.
It's just the different particles. But Serena has a question. I'm not sure if we can really come up with an answer. I have comfrey powder and cut and sifting roots, which I mix at a 1-to-1 ratio with just enough water to moisture or get it moist, and make a poultice. Question: will using this on my hand reduce the crystals? I'm not sure what your psoriasis.
I know what they are, and let me just cover that a little bit. Okay, so see, to really answer your question, I would want to know a little bit more about you and what you eat and what's going on with your body, because these are signs that you're eliminating some toxin from your body. This is how your body eliminates it. It doesn't completely get rid of it. And so your body doesn't know how to spit it out, so to speak, right? And so comfrey actually will do you better, make comfrey tea, but to ingest it. You want to do both. You want to make the comfrey tea, but there are other things you can do, and I'll tell you in a second. But the comfrey as a poultice will pull it out. But there are other things that will do even better, that would pull it out. So castor oil will do the same thing, but even better. Castor oil, and there are different types of castor oil. Again, it's the castor plant. See, right? So you don't know how to make castor oil from a plant, but basically it's castor oil from a plant. And so that putting castor oil on wherever you have these issues, and what you do is it's a wrap. You basically wrap it up.
Yeah.
You put some down. You wrap it up. What depends on what part of your body is.
And I want to point out, guys, we're not trying to give medical information.
No, we're not.
You're always best to go, see your doctor. You know, I think we should probably, you know, stay away from questions exactly like that. I am going to have a naturopath on Dr. Will. So maybe that's a question we can ask him, because he is an actual doctor. So yeah, I think we should probably, and Lily, because Lily came down and says, we're not doctors. We really shouldn't be trying to give any medical advice. You can try whatever you want to try, but we shouldn't actually say, you know, try this or try that, Andy.
Okay, but it doesn't hurt. The whole thing, it doesn't, you're not drinking it, and nothing's going to happen to you unless you're allergic to castor oil. But I've been using it for 30, 40 years, and I recommend it highly as a non-invasive tool that you can use.
Yeah.
And coconut oil by itself too. Coconut oil is wonderful by itself. So it's very clean, very benign. It's not like I'm recommending medicine or anything like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to try it. See, you know, basically.
I just want to make sure people understand we're not trying to
No.
you know, recommend anything. And like, I've tried lots of things and lots of different poultices that have worked fantastic. And we can explain what we've tried, but we can't give, we can't give medical information, and we're not trying to.
No, I'm not. I understand, because it's, but again, I'm not talling them to take some type of drug or to take some other thing. This is just like,
it's just about Mother Nature.
It's from Mother Nature. Coconut oil is coconut oil. Castor oil is castor oil. You can even have olive oil. There are lots of different oils out there. And I never said drink this stuff, but I mean, I tried castor oil would definitely give me the runs, right? You know, and there are ways to do that, you know. But and
the old cod liver oil.
I stick to all kinds of things that are natural and safe to use. Yeah. When people ask me, I feel free. I feel okay in recommending it. Again, I would tell them you could be allergic to it. You just never know. But if you go to your doctor, the doctor won't have the faintest idea what you're talking about unless he's familiar. Like you said, this guy's going to come on, maybe more familiar with the.
Your normal MD is more likely to go, oh, you got this here, take this take this prescription, you know, where there's so much natural ways that, you know, we're putting aside. We try it, you know, take responsibility, do your own research, you know, be your own doctor by doing your own research. But if you're going to try something, guys, you know, in anything you do, whether, you know, you could be allergic to coffee, the first time you have a coffee, go low and slow, just have a little bit.
That's why I learned from experience only to recommend things that there's no way you can go wrong with that. Like, for example, using red light therapy, I use blue light therapy myself. Light's a very simple technique that you can use on your body, but you'd be surprised at the different things that you no longer have to take because you're using that. You know, I have a lot of friends that say, I've been taking this particular drug forever, nothing's happening. What can I do? And then I said, well, try this. How could it hurt, right? As long as you can't hurt yourself with that. You know, even then, like I said, if you go to the doctor, they'll say, what is this? This is voodoo. This is not going to work.
And you can hurt yourself with light therapy, but you got to put your hand against the bulb for a while.
Well, it's no heat involved. I think the biggest issue would be to look straight into it and blind yourself a little bit. I think it's LED lights, basically. You know. So anyway, I learned what is the difference between earthworm and red wigglers. They're the same thing, just different name. Earthworms, red wigglers are earthworms. So earthworm will be the species, and red wiggler will be the name.
Well, you've got your Mexican jumping worms.
African red wigglers.
You've got a lot of different types
European
of worms,
wigglers.
but they're all worms, and they're all doing the exact same thing in the soil. Just, you know, the red wiggler can't live in Canada, you know, out in nature because they freeze to death.
Yeah.
Where other ones can exist in different environments.
My favorite are the African red wigglers from Africa.
Yeah.
They're bigger than me.
Yeah, and they're designed more of as a compost worm. instead of, you know, a deep, like a regular earthworm. Like we got a species that goes 6 to 8 feet deep in the winter so they can survive, and they do not like to be composted, where that's why the red wiggler doesn't always try to climb out, and it'll live in that environment a lot easier. So that's why we call them the compost worms, the red wiggler.
Ideally, you don't want to mix varieties up. I don't think they get along really well. So
not necessarily, no.
Yeah, you know, I would just have one type as another. I remember mixing African red wigglers with the European types. After a while, I didn't have any more European. I don't know what happened with the African go. We don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know. No, you know anything? Hey, Charlie, you know, no, I don't know nothing.
Man, it was the Mexican jumping worms. They chased us away, man.
Okay, let's see what we got here. So that's a worm. See, that's a worm.
Yeah.
And I thought I would cover the earthworm farm a little bit because it does produce an amazing compost.
Okay.
Because once a year you have to take everything out, all the worms. You have to tell them, okay, guys, we're going to clean the place out, take them all out. Normally, what people do, they spin it, put them in a little spinner, feed the worms in, and all the stuff falls out, and you replace it. You start over again. But that stuff you have in there, it's like the best compost I've ever encountered in my life. Because it's so rich. I mean, it's full of earthworm eggs to start with. You know, I mean, so you can take that, put that. And so I used to take it and put it under people's trees. I call them tree vents. It's a clay drain pipe. You put them in there. You have distilled water coming through, filtered water comes through, and the worms just expand out from there. They have a little base to work from. And so it's very, you definitely want to key in having your own earthworm farm, because that liquid, you add that to your compost.
And it's a compost accelerator. It'll help get things going that much faster. And
That's right.
Dissolved solids. The smaller those molecules are broken down,
that's right,
the faster they can be used. So the faster the biology in your compost gets up to speed.
Yeah, and I tell you, when I discovered earthworms, it just speeded up everything for me, because I use it as a liquid. I foliar feed my plants with it because the stuff is so readily available. The nutrition that the worm farm produces, it's readily available. Though you can just soak it, give it to a plant. The plant will absorb it immediately. I mean, I wish I could eat the stuff, right? Because it's really.
I actually do, Andy.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Right.
I do, and I use it. What I do, and you're making a liquid where you're putting the water through. Where I just take dried earthworm castings into a 5-gallon bucket and mix it up that way, and get it out, you know, that way. Especially if you've got your own. But guys, if you're gonna do earthworm castings, you know, I use gel caps. Make sure you have to dry it out first, or else there's so much biology there. They will eat your gel cap really fast.
They will go through that. They will go through that.
Oh yeah.
I bought some black charcoal capsules where you take it for your stomach, right?
Yep.
And I thought I was just experiment, put a little handful in a little corner there. I came back 2 days later. They were all just had broken apart, and the worms are going, oh, this is really good stuff. So I'm going, holy cow, worms. So they really liked that. And that gel wasn't obviously something that they could eat. No, there wasn't any problem.
Yeah. But Andy, Serena had another question. And Serena, did you go to Andy's website and use his what is it, Andy, that they need to do?
They have to go. They can sign up for the newsletter. Mm-hmm. And in the newsletter, there'll be a little button that'll say when it comes out, because it comes out maybe once a week, twice a week, or twice a month, something like that. And then you'll be able to download it for free, because it's being sold online on my website as an ebook. See, it's $10. I think it's $15 for the Don't Panic, It's Organic, and $10 for the natural pest control alternative to chemicals for the home and garden. But you guys can click on it, and if you don't want to wait to the newsletter, because you can sign up for the newsletter, it'll show you, but you just have to send me email, and you send the email through the newsletter. You don't send the email like normal other people, because I'll never find it. So in the newsletter, they click here for email. Click on it, that server sends it to me, and I have a box. And then you'll say, "Give me my book," and I just send your ebook right back.
Okay, so she has followed the steps, but Andy hasn't put out a newsletter for a little while. So
I haven't done it in a few days yet, but
yeah, wait for the next newsletter, Serena.
What I'll do is, I'll do the newsletter soon because I was waiting for actually this show to do it. At the end of the month, I do a newsletter, tells people what I did the whole month, and you'll have it on that newsletter thing. But if you're in a hurry, all you have to do is you just email Ken because Ken's email goes in a special, but he's special. So he goes
it's all about the biology at gmail.com.
Right.
And I'll put you in touch with Andy's closer email. So he
just forward it because you have a special box that says all about the biology. It goes right in there from you. You know, I don't want to have a box for everybody, but like I said, you're special.
So other than that, Serena, you're gonna have to wait until Andy brings out the next newsletter, which should, like you said, should be around the end of the month. So
do you think I could up here on this thing on the comment? Isn't there a place to upload a file?
I'm not sure. And a link I could get you but then
I know in Zoom you can load a file and people can click on it and download it. So I thought maybe because that would be an easy way to attach a file to this chat. We'll try it next time to see if that works. It might be just an easy way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can do that. Probably can. I can try to put it in the description. But Serena's going, Andy, next week. Are you going to get to this next week, Andy?
All you have to do is email Ken. He'll forward it to me. If you do it today, I'll send it right away. It doesn't take forever to do it. As soon as I get his email, I know it, and I will send it to you. Anybody else?
Okay, so now you're passing the buck, Andy.
Yeah, to you. If you don't do it, it's not my fault.
Yeah. It's not like I don't have enough to do in an average day, brother. I love you, Andy.
Well, you can send me an email, but I won't get it. I had 27,000 emails the other day, and I only went through 1,000 of them, and I deleted the rest of them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, tomorrow we do have chiropractic is sexy. What's our topic here? You can't out adjust a chaotic life. As for Andy and I next week, natural disease control. On Friday, I got Trum. Oh man, why am I always forgetting his name, Andy? Guys, just let me go.
Who are we talking about?
Well, I've got a gentleman on Friday that I'm doing an interview with, Matthew Trum, and he's putting together a new chorus that he's got a huge amount of big names like Matt Powers, etc. We're going to be interviewing him on Friday. And then, of course, I've got Yellow Skunk Farm. So if you guys are into Leighton Morrison's Horizontal Soil System, Yellow Skunk Farms has put it together where he's got a stream literally running through his grow bed. So you're going to want to check that out. We're going to get an update from him on Monday. And so other than that, guys, Andy, I'll give you the last word so you can say peace out.
Peace out. Bye.